So welcome everyone once again. I'm Abdul. I'm an education programmer at Abdullah Salim Cultural Center. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Again, I just like to remind everybody to download Flipgrid before we start so we can use that at the end. All right, let's get started. So we're delighted, absolutely delighted to have Ms. Vanessa Temple in today. She is an early childhood specialist and she is an early years principal at the English Playgroup since 2018. Please, Ms. Temple, take it away and tell us a little bit more about yourself before the presentation.
Thank you very much. Now you can hear me. I am an early childhood specialist. I wanted to just mention that because there's a lot of confusion sometimes with principals. You can be drafted into being an early childhood principal from any sector of education, but I am an early childhood specialist and I've worked for over 30 years now, most of it in overseas schools, British curriculum mainly, but also American and IB. And so I've brought a huge amount of experience. I've worked in the Gulf for quite a few years, on and off for the last 25 years. So I'm excited to work with the team that I have at EPG. I wanted to thank first everybody that's helped put the program together. It's been a journey, so thanks to everybody. And I'm very thankful to the Centre for allowing us to share this program with everybody on this platform.
Let's get started. So let us know, how did this concept come about?
So, well, it started in March last year when schools closed, because obviously we have a huge number of children and we were told, no school, it's closed from March. So what did we have to do straight away? We had to have some way of sharing with parents what we were doing. And we chose straight away the platform that our parents like, which is WhatsApp. We tried to upload all our work for the workbooks on our personal space online. Parents did not like that, so we ended up going to WhatsApp. And my concern then was, of course, all we've got to share is worksheets and workbooks when, as an early childhood person, you really don't want to be focusing on worksheets and workbooks because it's not what we believe is developmentally appropriate. And so we started to share challenges. So I'm going to move on to the slides as we go through if I can. I'm not very good at doing both, I'm not a multitasker. So the challenges, this was from March last year. We've just put the new one up for this year. This week it's Earth Week. So we came up with this concept of challenges, which was really to engage the children in learning in a thinking kind of way, rather than just completing something. So the challenge was something fresh every day that we could link to the theme of the week, which we had a different theme every week. And how can we get children to be mostly environmentally aware? That's what the concept of all our challenges really is. Can we start recycling and being aware of those kinds of things? Can we get children to be creative? And can we get children to use skills that are not just cut and stick or write? Because, you know, filling in a worksheet, it just makes my heart very sad when all we do for children is to fill in a worksheet. So the concept of the challenges came up quite quickly so that we could engage children and also families, because children are only little, they need help from their parents. So if we give them a task where parents need to help, it really helps to bring that family together. We were hoping that that would be the way. And we, as I said, we still use the challenges today. For every special event, we have a weekly challenge. So that's proved quite successful. Then, of course, we had the whole summer and most of Kuwait was in lockdown. And my concern and the concern of EPG was, what are we going to do for our children who are stuck in the apartment? Because one of the things that's been proved throughout the whole of this process is that the EPG board have just said, whatever is needed for children in Kuwait, that's what we will provide, whether they're EPG children or not. And so I had this crazy idea that we were going to make a load of video lessons that we could share with the children. And so fantastically, the board went, yes, go ahead and do that. So what we did was the budget went into it to buying cameras and training people to edit, and microphones, which was a disaster to try and get hold of because we had to bring them in from Dubai. Everybody and his, you know, chicken had a microphone here in Kuwait last year. It was very difficult to get hold of them. And so what we did was we started to film videos based on a program for virtual summer camp, we called it. And what that did was 10 videos a day, and we did this for 5 days a week for 10 weeks. So we ended up with 500 videos on our YouTube channel that were free for children to watch and join in with. And that was fantastic for us, because it meant that if children were at home and they wanted to do something physical, then we could allow them to do that. So I'll just give you a little bit of the teaser that we had to show the example of what we did. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. So that's a little bit of what we did. So you can see how diverse it was. And if you can notice there, it's not just in front of a blank wall. We actually have people who have technological advanced skills to do green screen. And so we wanted to make them as most engaging as we could for the children, rather than just somebody jumping up and down and saying, let's stretch and kick. So we had a range. So we had ballet, karate, food arts, which only used healthy food, no chocolate was in there, recycled crafts, English and Arabic story time, because we do have a full Arabic program. We wanted children to continue with that. So we put these on our public YouTube channel every morning at 10 o'clock. There was 10 new videos. So anybody, any child who wanted to join in, that was there for them. So we felt that that was our community responsibility to do that for the children of Kuwait and other countries if they wanted to join in. And we also encouraged them. We had competitions, we had Instagram competitions, we had an iPad competition. So we could make sure that as many children joined in as possible. And that kind of set the tone for what was going to happen with EY Online, which is what we call our online program, because we had the skills and the resources and the cameras and everything to start to film video lessons. So that kind of brought that together. And then over the summer, I did a lot of research with mostly universities, I have to say, who were already running successful online school programs, because everybody can have a good idea, but if there's a good idea out there already, I'm happy to steal it. So having attended all these webinars, the main 3 points that came out were high quality video lessons, appropriate support resources, and the regular and meaningful interactions between pupil and teacher, whether it was a student or a child or a teacher. So those 3 things seem to be the common points that the successful online programs were already using. So my thought was then, how are we going to translate these 3 key points into what I need to do with my 2 to 5-year-olds? So what we had to do then is I had to kind of break down exactly what happened in school and then break down exactly what I needed to do at home and try and match the 2 together. And so for that, this is how it kind of flowed. If you can see the screen, one side is what happens in school and the other side is a direct correlation with what happens with the online program. So teachers can understand it, parents can understand, well, this is it's not going to be the same, because if the media of instruction changes, then the content has to change. That was very clear for me from the start. You can't just teach the way that you would do with a group of children, particularly early years, because a lot of what you do with those children is observe them play, set up play situations and facilitate learning. Well, how are you going to do that through a screen? So we ended up with this model, which is what we've stuck with.
So, Mr. Paul, this is a great concept, but how did it translate into application when it comes to like lesson type, lesson length? If you could elaborate on that.
Okay, yes, they're fantastic questions, and they're what caused the heartache at the beginning of the plan, because obviously our children spend 5 hours a day at school. They have some teacher time, they have some play time, they have some investigative time. How am I going to make that into a program that a small child is going to want to join in with? Because it's, you know, I'll be honest with you, our parents want us to sit and talk to the children on screen for many hours a day, and that's not appropriate for us. So what I ended up doing was putting together a timetable. So because we are a bilingual program, we included Arabic and Arabic maths, and for FS2 we included Islamic, because our children will go to the primary schools and they have to have a reasonable standard of Arabic. And then we have a very excellent Arabic program, so we needed to prioritize Arabic in there as well. So this is the timetable we came up with. And so there's 3 lessons a day. Now, the first and the last lesson, they're about half an hour long. And the middle lesson is the craft and the PSED. They're much shorter because they're just kind of like jump off videos with explanations or stories. So when we wanted to think about how long will the children be watching the screen, because we had a half an hour video and another half an hour video and a 15-minute video. It's a long time altogether. So then the concept had to be, how are we going to break up these half-hour videos? Because unless you're Disney, your children will watch the screen for half an hour. And we're a long way from being Disney. We'll get there eventually, but not yet. So what we had to do was analyze how we used a lesson, which was to break it down into the different parts. And the main thing that I was most adamant about was the length of attention span of our young children, because they cannot sit for a long time. And we know when we have them in circle time, 5 minutes, we're really pushing it. So we broke it down into essential question, song and story, which quite often goes beyond 10 minutes because it's several things. We have an interactive whiteboard activity. We do the workbook page, and then we do the wrap up so we can reflect on what we've taught in the video lesson. And the length of time should be no more than half an hour. Most of our videos are about 27, 28 minutes. And what we do in the middle of it is we actually tell the children to stop and do something. So when we read a story, we also make sure that there's a flip book of that story that the child can click on the link in action. So what happens is they see this screen, English or Arabic, depending on the lesson. And it comes up in the middle of the video. When we finished reading the story, the teacher will say, now click on the link and you can read the story for yourself. And this hand signal comes up. So anybody supervising them can see, oh, stop the video, because the children can't do it themselves. And we make sure that after that period of time, if they want to, they can take a break. So they're not sitting for half an hour because it's too long for our little children. Excuse me. So one of the things that we do with our children in our videos is we have 2 characters called Edu and G. And if you remember from the summer camp video, they were also taking part in karate and all those things. And so we use them all the time in these videos. Now, they're extremely popular with the children. And so let's just have a little greeting.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to EPG-EY Online.
Thank you, Edu and G. So they are in all our videos because the children love them. And they really do love them. They're like celebrities for us. So we felt that there's a couple of reasons why Edu and G used. One, children love them, so they're attracted to the video. There's our Disney element. But the second thing is, when you're making a video and you're talking to yourself, you feel very silly, and the children think, who's she waiting to answer this question with? So what we do is, they're in the videos and they represent the children. So the teacher they bounce off Edu or G in the video, but also Edu and G are there. And when she says, what do you think? What sound is this? They will answer. So they model what we want the children to do, and they example what we want the children to say or do. So they give the children a clue as to what they should be doing, rather than the teacher just kind of waiting and being very boring. So Edu and G, they are there to help everybody. So coming back to the 3 elements that we started with, which was high quality video lesson. Excuse me, I've got very dry throat now. The reason we wanted a video lesson, and this was a challenge for us because no parent wants a video lesson. They all want one-to-one teaching between a screen and a child. Now, that is not the best way forward. And there's research in the UK that also says this is not now. So why did we choose video? One, consistency of content. I can ensure that every child gets the same content every day, because we've got 1,500 children on, and over 1,000 of those are FS2. I cannot have some teachers being good, some teachers being not so good, some teachers having a bad day. I've got to have the same content, because we promise that to our parents, consistency of content. So we have the same content for everybody, and it's the same quality. So that's two of my main concerns covered with the video lesson. I know exactly what's going out, and I know it's the quality that I want it to go out at. Now, the other thing is access time. If you have a live lesson, if you miss the live lesson, you've missed it. You can't go back. Whereas with a video lesson, you can watch it whenever you like. If you're driving to the avenues, you can put it on and you can sing along with the phonics song. If you want to watch it again tomorrow, you can watch it again tomorrow. We leave the videos up for a week from the day that they're posted. So if some things went up today, it's up for a whole week from today. And we found that this was something parents wanted, because a lot of mums in particular, on Saturdays, if they've got a day off, they'll sit and they'll go through some of the lessons with their children again. And so it's important that we leave them up long enough for children to watch them, not just once, but multiple times, or at a time that's convenient with their family. Because we're not just dealing with high schoolers who sit in their room and put their headphones on and do things. These are little children whose parents have to engage with them. And so that was a strong point for us. And really, that's the most important thing, is how long we leave it up so parents can watch it again. Another thing was, for us, we can film it once and we can use it many times. So we have now just finished last week, filming for the whole year for FS2, FS1 and FSL. And we can use these videos again. If we have to have hybrid school, we'll use the videos again, because we know that they're filmed and the content won't change, because it's directly linked with our curriculum. And the other point was that they're fun. It's not a teacher talking. I can be engaging for so long, but if Edu and G are singing and dancing, it's far more fantastic for the children. And so the high content video lesson, and that's one thing that our MD in particular said from very early on, focus on the video lessons and make them the highest content quality that you can. And so that's why we invested in good cameras, microphones. We trained people to do editing and to film. We've our own little film studios now, which has been set up, and primary use them as well. So that was a big thing for us, to meet the needs of families that we can't possibly meet with a live lesson, even though that's what they said they wanted. Really, that wasn't what they needed. So when we thought about making the video lessons, and we had that schedule of what we wanted to do, what we then had to do was make a lesson plan, which was derived from the actual lesson plans that we have in school. So we know that the essential question is the same. We know the content is the same. What we had to do was pull from that week of teaching the main points that we wanted to teach, because we only get one lesson of everything per week. Whereas in school, we have lots of lessons of everything per week. So we followed an adapted lesson plan to ensure consistent delivery of curriculum. So I'll just play this little video and you can see how that works.
But the very, very first thing we'll do is check our essential question for this week. And it reads, can you write the beginning sounds of these fruits here on this picture?
Are you ready to sing a song, Edu?
Yes, I am.
You are. Our song today is all about fruits.
Fruits.
So our story is all about fruits.
It's IWB activity time. Now, do you have any idea what is our IWB activity for today? It's all about Hungry Monster.
الآن أحبابي أطفال FS2 وصلنا إلى مرحلة تطبيق ما تعلمناه اليوم على ورقة العمل. هذه هي ورقة العمل المطلوب منا حلها لهذا اليوم. الصفحة 99.
Everything we've been looking at this week, and there's a lot, isn't there? There were 3 different sounds that sound the same, but we write them differently.
So you can see we have a range of video lessons, and they're taught by our teachers. So senior leaders, I do one as well. We all took a subject, and so the maths teacher is the same maths teacher all year. The phonics teacher is the same phonics teacher all year. And we according to that schedule, we've then filmed the same number of videos. Now, because we do 3 levels of schooling online, the FS2 and the FS1 are similar, but the FS2 is extended. FSL, which I don't really talk about very much in this session, it's very, very different. It's based on a song, a story, and a workbook page a week, because those children are very little. We've got to keep it appropriate for them. But as they get older, then the lesson content gets more complicated and advanced. So what we do then is the video lessons give the content, but how do we get back what we've been doing with the children? Because that's a problem. So one of the things that we do is we use a workbook, and here are the photographs of the workbook. So we publish our own workbooks, and each page of the workbook goes directly with the lesson of the video lesson. So in the video lesson, one of those sections is workbook. So we put on the interactive whiteboard the workbook page, and then we go through what the children are going to do. And at the end of that, the stop sign comes up. It says, stop, now do your workbook page. So the children can have a break, or they can go and get the book out and do it, and they can take a video of it. So we have term 1 and term 2, and these books are set because they exactly correlate with our curriculum and the online curriculum. So that was an integral part of what we did to support that. So we had the high content video lesson. The second thing was the support materials. Now, the next support material that we gave to parents when they enrolled in online was a resource box, and it was enormous. And all these things were in it. So there was games, flashcards. If the teachers are using a flashcard game, they have the flashcards in the box for all the sounds, for the high frequency words that we do, for the colours. So some were for FSL children, who were younger children, they're mostly games. Some were for FS2, and they were a combination. The FS2 children had lots of flashcards and things. And the teacher uses those flashcards and high frequency words in the video lessons that we do, the live sessions. So because I am extremely dedicated to children, not just doing a workbook, which is what that really supports, we also put in lots of art and craft materials to make sure that our children could create. So they got an apron, they got paints, they got paintbrushes, they got markers, they got pots to put the pencils in. So it was a full pack that supported all the video lessons, not just the workbook ones, but also the creative activities. So they've got safety systems and things like that. So the resource box was quite huge. And you can see that the children have used it, because you can see in the videos that they send back that they are using it. One of the things that we gave also was the stamps. EPG produces its own motivation stamps for the children, and we use them when we're marking home learning. And so we put those in the box for the parents as well, because if the parents are going to be teachers, they can act like it and they can stamp the work, which says great work and things like that. And it's a lovely experience for the children and the parents to talk about how great the work is, and then to choose the stamp that they're going to use and to stamp the work. So the parents don't have to think about saying wonderful things, and just choose the stamp, and the children get a part in that process. So that was very key for us to send that out. Now, I will say that the unexpected, amazing thing that happened was the mini whiteboard. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but for us, it's the greatest tool in the world. So the teachers use it all the time when they set a goal for the children, or when they're doing a video lesson. The mini whiteboard comes out all the time. So I'm just going to show this so you can have a quick look at the amazing things that happen with the mini whiteboard and the EPG pens.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remove 1. This one's 4. My favorite fruit is strawberry. 1, 2, 8, 9, minus 3. That's it. salad.
So you can see they used a lot for many different things, and it's made a big difference for our children because they can hold it up and it's not paper, it's not wobbling. They can rub it out and they can use it many times. And so that was an unexpected fantasticness from our resource pack, but it's been very, very effective. So then we had to work out how are we going to get this interaction with the children. Well, most of it, again, comes back to the challenges as well, because it's not just the videos that we get back of children doing workbook pages or little things like that. We also get back lots of work that we can use for our continuous assessment, which is very important when we're teaching. You want to know where a child is so you can move them forward. So I'll play this little video and you can see some of the kinds of activities that the children send in for craft or non-whiteboard, non-workbook page activities.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 equals 3. This is my story. Title is Yummy Fruit Salad. Two friends like different fruits. Hi, I'm showing you 3D shapes. Cylinder, rectangular prism, cube, core, the big pancake. Our woman had 7 little boys. The 7 little boys were very hungry. egg. نعم كثيرة لا تعد ولا تزحى. منها نعمة الدماغ ونعمة العائلة. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Me and my family went to the restaurant to eat.
So we get a range of videos. The children love making them, the parents love making them, and we love getting them as responses. Now, we don't save thousands of videos, obviously. We store them on Flipgrid, and I'll explain how that works later. But we can keep them forever. So what happens when we finish a week and we've got all those responses, we don't delete them, you can hide them. So when it comes to teachers doing assessment of children and they think, oh, did I not get a video of that child writing their name? They can go back and they can watch it. So we don't save those videos, we store them on Flipgrid, and that's been fantastic for us.
These videos are really fantastic, Ms. Temple. I just had a quick, because from talking to you, I know that it's been a balancing act of trial and error between live sessions and these wonderful videos that you showed us. How is that working out, and why are live sessions essential on top of these videos that are pre-taped?
That's a great question. That comes back to the third point. So we have the high quality video lessons, we have the support resources, and then you need to have interactions with people and children. And that's really thanks to you that this came about, because I joined in with the webinar that the Cultural Centre did, which was all about connecting. And that's what we felt in that session, was that everybody missed that connection, and pupils didn't understand that teachers missed it, and teachers probably didn't understand the depth that children felt it. And so having that live session connection is absolutely vital, because everybody wants validation and feedback and connection. And so when we have our live session, that, apart from the fact that that's what the parents want 24 hours a day, but what we have then is time for children and teachers and their friends in that group to be together and to have a little bit of a connected experience. And that's the most important thing for us, because children are missing their friends, they're missing their teachers, they're missing being with other people and sharing work and having stories. And we cannot do that through a screen where there's no connection. And so live sessions really are the way for us for that. So what we ended up doing was we had a schedule. We changed the schedule. We had one live session a week, and then we listened to parent feedback, and we changed it to 2 live sessions a week. And so this is kind of like a typical schedule. We try and keep the same lesson at the same time, even though it's on different days. Now, because we operate with a unit of teachers, each group has got an English, a maths, and an Arabic teacher, and they work with the same groups all the time. So this is roughly how it would work. You have 2 English lessons, 2 maths lessons, and 2 Arabic live sessions a week. Excuse me. And so that helps the children know with a routine. Parents have the routine. We don't, I'm going to say now, we don't change the times, but yesterday we changed the times because we have to finish earlier because of curfew. The teachers have to get home. So what we did was over the weekend, we switched to the Ramadan timings early. So the times that we've got now, even though we've changed them, we won't change them for the rest of the school year. But up until then, we did not change them. Their children are still with the same groups, they're still with the same teachers. We've just had to shuffle the times forward a little bit to allow teachers to get home, because most of our teachers have chosen to work from home, but some have chosen to go to the branch and still work in their own classroom. And we accept both from our teachers. We don't make them do one or the other, they can choose. And so the live sessions, the teachers have a schedule, the children have a schedule, the families have a schedule, and that stays the same, so that the children in the group stays the same. Mostly, sometimes parents move them out into different groups if they need to change the times. But essentially you have a group of 8 children, and then you have 3 teachers who work with this group of 8 children all the time, all year. So the children know the teachers and they know the children in the group, and they go, oh, Mohammed's coming or Asma's coming, and they can say hello because it's like a little group of children. Now, the one thing I have to mention about these groups is the teachers. The teachers have to be a cohesive unit. So why do we have a cohesive unit? Well, the children get to know and bond with their teachers, but it's the same as if you were teaching in a real school. The teachers would communicate with each other because they teach the same children. So it allows them to get to know them, bond with their friends. The teachers can talk to each other after the live session and say, I've got, they can email or do a video message. Mohammed's had a problem today. How is he with your lesson? And we can follow up with the pastoral side as well. And that's very important, that not one teacher is working in isolation. So when we put the groups together, the main thing we thought about was this connection, keeping the group together and having them together. And when we put the children in groups, we try and keep them from the same branch. If we were in live school, they would go to the same branch. So when they go back to school, if they're in a group, they will go back together into the school in the same class. So the friends that you made with your online school will be your friends when you go back to school. Because I'm extremely concerned about the anxiety that children will feel when they actually go back to the classroom, because it's going to look a bit different. There's going to be less children, and will I know anybody? So the groups that are the children that are in the same branch, they will go into the same class. So I'm hoping that anxiety will be lessened and the excitement of going to see your friends will be there. They won't be able to have the same teachers because the teachers teach 80 children each, and they're not necessarily going to be in that branch, but they'll have the same friends. And that's vital for the mental health of our children when we go back, that they are not frightened, that they're excited to go and meet their friends. Same for parents. They'll know the parents already from the online live sessions, because you can see mom's hand popping in all the time, or sometimes dad's walking past and waving. So the families know each other as well. And that we're hoping that makes a difference when we go back to school.
Sort of
yes.
In the chat, you addressed a couple of questions in chat by mistake, because I know you're not looking at that right now. But yeah, we're gonna just to remind everybody that we're gonna have a Q&A at the end, hopefully, if we have time for it. But yeah, so Flipgrid. I've been telling everybody to download Flipgrid since the beginning of the presentation. So please tell us more about it.
Right. If you don't know Flipgrid, please investigate it. I'm not paid to say this. I just think it's amazing. And my team they say quite often, do you remember when you said to us, can you look at Flipgrid? Because it's changed our way of life. So why did I choose Flipgrid? Teams is fantastic. I'm not knocking Teams, but Teams is made for adult professionals. And I deal with 3 to 5 year olds and their parents who are not necessarily technologically skilled, because I can't run a school on WhatsApp. And believe me, I've been asked to do it on WhatsApp many times. It's not possible. If it was, we would have done it. So we chose Flipgrid because it's a platform that is designed to use with children. Now, internet security was my first thing, because when we were looking at platforms, there was the whole hoo-ha from Zoom, but people can jump into Zoom and what are you going to do about this? And we use Zoom, but we use it through Flipgrid. So it's a Microsoft platform, so it's got the highest levels of security that we can have. I cannot get higher level of security than Microsoft security. So that was a consideration that first settled that idea for us. How we use it, it can be fixed from my team in my office. So when we go back to consistency of content, consistency of delivery, the team in my office, they supervise Flipgrid. So it's not rogue. People can't put different things on. It's the same and consistent for everybody. And we can check the content as well, because sometimes we get some cousin that joins in and writes a not very friendly comment, and we have to remove it and then phone the parents and say, can you please supervise your Flipgrid, please? So we can supervise the content, and it can come from one person, which I'll talk about at the end. Now, the other thing which was the perfect reason for choosing Flipgrid, children can't write at this age, and they can't read. So I could write the most fantastic comment, but they can't read it. And a lot of our parents don't speak particularly fantastic English, and they find it very difficult to read English as well. So we had to have a platform where the feedback and co-feedback was videos, and they had to be made with the easiest possible way possible. So because Flipgrid is extremely easy to make a video, to send in and to respond to, this gave us the platform that we wanted. And so we've set it up so we have different groups and they all work on Flipgrid. So this is how we do our consistency of content. I'm going to have to speed up. So EY Central, that's my office. We put together the videos and we store them. IT upload them for us. And then the maths teachers on a Saturday, they upload them onto their own 10 grids. And then via the group, then the children can respond. So it all comes from us. So we know it's the same. We know everybody's got the same content. Parents can be assured that if you move groups, you're going to get the same content on the same day. But we can also monitor it. So we've got about 300 plus groups. So it's a bit of an organizing miracle that we've got this set up, to be perfectly honest. One person runs Flipgrid. She does an amazing job. This is what you'll see. This is not this exact page, but you'll see a page like this, and it's got these little world pictures on and these little buttons, and you click those to go to the different links of different things. So this isn't a typical day. We have the Zoom link is there as well, not just the lessons. So we include the video lessons, but if we read a story, then you get a copy of the flipbook story. If we have an interactive whiteboard, then you get a copy of that. And you can click on them all because the hand says stop and read the story or stop and play the game. So we have to provide the thing for you to do when we say stop. And we can put 9 links up a day. The maximum is 9. And so the video lessons go up there, all the support things, and then the Zoom link as well, because we want our families to remember, okay, I've got English Zoom at 9:45 today. If they want to check when it is, they just click on the Flipgrid page for that day, and they can click on that link. That link takes them directly through to the live session with that teacher. Now, we learned the hard way that every session needs to have an individual code, because when we just gave a teacher code, parents were just saying, oh, I've missed that live session. It's 10 o'clock. I'll join the next one. And so children were not working with the same group and the teachers didn't know who was joining in. So we then had to go back and say, no, everybody's got to have their individual code. And so that's why we put the links there to keep that going. Now, they're sent out according to schedule. So we have video lessons in Arabic and English. Part of that section is how to do the workbook page. We use the flipbook, and there's an example of this on the page that we'll share with you. If you read the book, then the flipbook is on the page. The interactive whiteboard activities there. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. And so that's how Flipgrid works for us.
So the purpose of live lessons, I know because I've read this presentation already, but I want to do something for that. So what's changed? Because I know we've talked about this earlier in our last time you were with us in the workshop. You said that fundamentally teaching has changed. So what has changed at the core of teaching now with this platform and this sort of model?
For us, it's a total. It's a flip-flop of teaching. When you teach as a teacher, you deliver the content and you assess the children, but mainly you feel you're delivering content or facilitating learning. Now, because we've taken that away out of the equation, there's no teaching content. The video lesson does that. So what is the purpose of the live session? Well, it's the flip side of what we do. And in the general scheme of things, when we're teaching in the branch, what we would call it is, we'd call it teacher-led table, where the children come in a small group and work with the teacher on an activity that's designed for that group. Some groups that are higher achievers would have one activity. Some groups that are struggling or new starters, they would have one activity. So the live session is essentially a condensation of the teacher-led table. So for teachers, it was a challenge to get their head around this, because they still want to teach content. Well, that has gone. What you're now doing is you're responding to children's learning. So you are 100% a reflective teacher. So the live session is there to give the feeling of connection. It's to give interaction in a personal, meaningful way. And I'll go through how we use a live session, because there is a script that they had in the beginning that they needed to follow to make sure that they were doing the right thing. Because this flip of teaching is really difficult to get your head around because you're a teacher. So we also want the children to reflect on the essential questions and show what they know about what they've been learning at a level that they're confident with. So the teachers ask specific children specific questions based on what video feedback they've had in the week. If they've not seen a video feedback that shows a child responding to something, then they would ask them in the live session. So it's to gain insights into learning with professional observation. So not just use the video feedback to check if a child knows something, but to engage them in an activity in the live session. And it's also to engage parents. Most of our parents are present for the live session. This is why we've had to change them around this week, because if we've changed our times, the parents might not have done. And so what we want to engage with parents is to show them what we're doing. So it's a little bit of a window into teaching. In the classroom, no parent is there. They don't see what goes on. They're not there as part of the teacher-led table. But with live session, they are. So they can see what the children are doing. They can see what the teacher is asking, and they can balance, oh, my child's doing okay, or I think I might need to do a little bit more of work with them on the high frequency words, or oh, we can write a story like that next week. So it really engages the learning and the parents in the learning in a different way altogether. Not always fantastic, but it's always better. So the live session, this is the script that we had to start the sequence. And my job is to put things together. And also another big part of my job is to avoid complaints from parents. Because if you've got 1,500 children on a program and you get even just a percentage that complain, that's a lot of complaints to deal with. And we know our parents very well. So when we put together the script, when it says mention everyone by name and greet with a song and dance, the one thing that parents were very upset about in the first couple of weeks was if their child's name was never mentioned, because you want the teacher to talk to their child. And so we put it in the script, mention their name as they enter the group, and then they feel welcomed. And the teachers who didn't do that we watched the video and we saw that, and we reminded them to mention the children's name. They also talk about the essential question because that's the basis of the lesson. They ask questions based on the video feedback. We encourage discussion between the children. It's not just teacher-child. There's got to be some child-to-child discussion because that's what they would do at the table. We would say, what do you think about Estelle's work? And Estelle would say, well, I like my work. And somebody would say, oh, I love your work as well. So we want children to engage in communication with the group. It allows us to check with high frequency word flashcards and things that the children have been following the video lessons and have been catching up with what they need to do. Something that we did, we developed this after about week 3, was the goal setting that week. We did originally ask the teachers to set an individual goal, which was starting to be a bit of a challenge. And the parents then said, well, we don't know what this goal is. If we're not in the live session or we've missed it, what can we do? So what the teachers now do is at the end of every live session, they'll make a Flipgrid video and they entitle it goal setting. And they say, okay, mums and dads, this is what the goals are for everybody for this week. Mohammed, you're going to do, Fatima, you're going to do. So if the parents don't get the live session, they can click on that video and they know what the goal is for their child for that week. So they can support. So having that face-to-face video by the teacher has made a big difference with goal setting. And at the end, we say goodbye to everybody by name because we want them to feel that we've enjoyed having their company and we want them to come back again. So the script was closely adhered to in the beginning, so everybody got the routine, and then everybody just adapted it to what they wanted to do. But it still has the same elements. Excuse me. So the goal setting, that's the big deal that we want the children to do. So when they've done the video lesson and they've followed the questions of the teachers, we want them to have that individual goal. And we want parents to know what that is because we want them to support the child's learning. Can people do it every week? No, because everybody's got a family life and sometimes real life takes over from online learning. But we want to make sure that the children know that we're thinking about them and we know what level they're at and we know how to move them forward at the appropriate level.
Got a couple of questions in the chat that you're going to address later, but I wanted to ask you. So you have the team up right now that's done this. Is there anybody else in the background? Everything you've said and the platform are running it and making it and creating it. Like you said, shipping in mics and everything from Dubai. This must have taken a legion to do.
Yeah, you are completely correct. Now, again, this has not been a program that's been penny saving in any way. There's never been a question about budget. Nobody's ever asked me how much things cost. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know how much things cost because if we've needed it, then the academic service team have just produced it. The board have supported it fully. And I think that's made a difference that with the quality of what we've been able to achieve. So if you look at the screen I've got up now, that's myself, I'm there, top of the pyramid, because that's where I end up being on most of the time, sorry. You'll notice that two of the ladies on the next row are actually in video lessons. My vice principal, Miss Victoria, and my academic coordinator, Miss Lindsay. The lady in the middle row, that's Miss Awa, who is our lead Arabic coordinator for early years. So anything to do with Arabic, she doesn't film. Not everybody is confident to do that, and we don't make anybody. But she works with the team that plan and deliver all the Arabic, maths, Islamic. So she is a superstar. And then the bottom row, these are the ladies who work in the early years office. So we have Jennifer Ann and Jennifer Tabeo. And Jennifer Tabeo with the silver necklace on, she's the one lady, she runs Flipgrid for everything. So it does take a lot of people to organize everything, but this is the core team of who does it now. I'm just going to play the next couple of videos so you can see a little bit of what's gone on behind the scenes. So clearly it's not done on a laptop in an office somewhere. There's a huge amount of people that work with it. This is another one. You can get a bit more of an insight into this one. Ooh. So Mr. Ahmed and Mr. Ahmed, who are our two males that you will see there, they were employed expressly for us to work on videography and editing, and they've trained our staff in that. So behind the scenes takes a huge amount of people and a huge amount of resources, and you can see the rooms that are set up with the blue soundproofing. There are video studios, and we have 3 of those, and then an editing suite at the side. So the quality of what we do, has it got better in the year? Yes. Beginning of the year, it was still summer camp video level, but we've worked on it this year. But the quality of the videos, not just with the content or the delivery, but with the graphics that we use and with the editing that's gone on, we can fix the sound, and we couldn't do that before. It's made a huge difference in the quality of the video lessons, because what we want to do is engage the children. And if the sound is funny, the children don't watch. And if if Edu and G are not there, not very often that they'll watch either. So having the whole program come together with this huge team behind, and a lot of the ladies who do the editing, they're teachers. They've picked up a new skill this year for sure, because they're not teaching because we've got no children. So they've been given another job, and they've been working with the editing or with the filming. So we've got a fantastic team behind us this year. So I just want to go back to Edu and G, because they are really the superstars. Now we've finished filming, but Edu and G live on, and they live on in the hearts of the children. And so what we're doing now is engaging them in other ways to get the children engaged in live sessions, because it's coming to the end of the year, everybody's exhausted. So what we did for National Day is they did a Zoom blast, and they joined the Zoom of every group's live session for National and Liberation Day week. And they did a song and a dance. So I want to share this with you so you can see how excited the children are when Edu and G are around.
Hello, everyone. We are so excited to see you and know that you all want to sing and dance with us. Do you know this song? We know you do. Stand up, join in, and applause.
KUWAID أنا ديب على صوتي أنا الكويتي. KUWAID أنا ديب على صوتي أنا الكويتي.
So that was National Day with Edu and G, and the children were surprised. We didn't announce it. The teachers knew they would be coming because we had a schedule. I've only got 1 Edu and G, and I've got 300 groups to get through live sessions in a week. So we had a schedule. The teachers knew they were coming, but the children didn't. And so they were super excited when Edu and G joined in and started to sing their favourite song, really. That song, everybody loves it. So that's what Edu and G do now. We finished filming, is we are still trying to think of creative ways to get children engaged and to how we can keep them going at this late stage of the year, because they've been online for a long time now. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is triangle of power. I'm going to do this. If you've ever been to any of my workshops, you know I can't talk about this all the time. Child, parents, school. There is no straight line of power. There is only the triangle of power. You must have everybody working together to make a success. And having this program for online has involved parents in a different way in their child's education. They're stepping into the classroom, not just to supervise live sessions, but also to be a teacher as well. And so that triangle has been made very much stronger, I feel, this year with parent interaction. Now, for teachers, parents are the child's first and best educator. We listen to what they say, so we have modified the program a couple of times. What we've done again is we've changed the timetable, we've changed groups. If parents have had a good suggestion, we've tried to adapt it because our program is new and it's got to be flexible, it's got to be adaptable to the needs of who use it. So the children and the parents, if they need something and we can bring it in, or we need to change it to be a certain way, then we have done that. And so that triangle has been very strong this year. We've had a lot of children that haven't joined online school, and that's a parent's choice. But the children who've joined the online school, have they benefited from it? Absolutely. And you can see just in the enjoyment that they have from joining their friends with activities, or from the videos that they send in, the quality of education that they've had has been very, very good. A lot of the teachers are now saying, wow, FS1 children, they can write their name because of the mini whiteboard. So it's had lots of different benefits that we never thought about, and we will keep adapting it, and we've got to change it as we go along for the rest of the year. But after this year, I think the teachers will have a different way of teaching their teacher-led table when the children come in, because they've essentially been teaching only the teacher-led table all year, and they've got some crazy skills now about what to do with children when they're in that small group. And so the team effort, it's not just been me and my team in the office, it's been the teachers, it's been the branch managers who contact the parents with every single message that we send out, it's been the academic administrators, it's been the board. It's been a whole company getting behind this program that's made it what it is, because you can't have parents are supporting us. You can't have a successful program if not everybody's working with the same vision. And I am super thankful that when I say, oh, can we make 500 summer camp videos? Somebody says yes. And so that's made a huge difference into what we felt we would be able to do, because we knew somebody would say yes. And that's been completely empowering for the whole team.
I just want to encourage everybody to, now that we're towards the end of the presentation, to use Flipgrid, the app I told you to download at the beginning of the session. Ms. Temple, if you could go to the barcode.
There you go.
There you go. So please screen cap, scan it now if you can. And basically, what you will do is once you enter that barcode, there's going to be a Flipgrid guide for you to specifically use it for the English playgroup. It's called Flipgrid Guide. And send us your responses to this presentation. Send us your questions there. But please, 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 we encourage you to send video responses using this app so you can familiarize yourself with it if you're not already familiar with it, and possibly gain some inspiration from what Ms. Temple and her team have done to cope with this pandemic. One last thing, Ms. Temple, thank you so much for your tremendous efforts, your invaluable information, and honestly, mostly thank you for sharing it. A lot of people like to keep this stuff to themselves so they can be, let's just say, ahead of everybody else, or having something that's unique. But you sharing this information, exactly breaking it down, how to be a better educator, makes us all better educators. So thank you so much. If you could just send us off with something.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a delight to be invited, and I fully, everybody at EPG, our only question is, what do children need? And sometimes it's not what we want to do, but then we have to bring the focus back to what do children need. And this program has met the needs of children. And so if other people want to take ideas from it or to be inspired, then that's really our job half done, because it's going to help other people ask the question, what do children need? And hopefully enable them to have a program that does meet the needs of their children. So that is our total aim. So I'm very thankful to share it, and thank you again to be invited to work with your team. It's been fantastic. So just a quick thing about the Flipgrid code. Use your QR code. You can go to the Flipgrid, watch the Flipgrid guide, as we said. It will show you how to make a video response or make a little video. So I will get back to the chat questions, but if you want to make a video of your question, then I will make a video back answering that question. And we'll leave that group up. I said 24 hours, but it might need to be a bit longer because I don't know how many questions I've got to answer. So please explore our Flipgrid.
Ms. Temple, if you could address, we from the powers that be, that we've gotten the okay to run over a little bit for those who want to stay for the question and answer segment. We've got some questions in the chat for you. So some of them have been answered during the presentation because they were sent earlier, but I'm just going to run them by you anyway, just for us to have just 10 minutes over 9. So do you worry that kids may not learn social interaction skills because of the videos and or online learning?
Yeah, yes.
Sort of
That's a major worry for us. And we have a PSCD program, Personal, Social and Emotional Development Program. And it's in our curriculum that we have in school. And so for me, that is key, children having social skills, because a lot of them are stuck in a room on their own or with their own family. So we do a PSCD video every week. I actually read the story and do that video because it's my priority is the social skills of children. So they have to do something social as an activity with that page and with that video. So yes, I'm absolutely terrified that children are going to come back to school and not know how to be social. And I think a lot of children will. And so our aim as we transition back to school, our aim is not academics. Our aim is social skills and being kind to other children and being kind to ourselves. And so that will be our focus when we transition back to school.
Another question that's somewhat related to this and that you always also touched on, but I think you can build on it some more, is what happens when kids go back to school and their parents are no longer involved? How do you think this will affect the kids? And having been dependent on their parents for this period, do you think that might affect their confidence?
Yeah, they're really interesting questions. Will things change when we go back to school? Yes, parents will be involved in a way that they were not involved in before because they've had a window into school that they've never had before. And so I think not just us, I think all schools are going to face the fact that parents have been doing the job of the teacher and have had some insights that they've never had before. And the more you know, the more you want to know for a lot of parents. And so that we will have to see what the needs of our parents are when we go back to school. How involved do they want to be? We will have a split. Some parents who never want to do any kind of education again, it's our job, and some that want to continue and to support. And so we'll have to look at what we need to do to meet both sides of that community.
Perfect, thank you. I think that's pretty much the questions in the chat right now. Again, I'd like to encourage everybody, if you have any more questions, if you just want to say something, comment on the presentation in general, please use Flipgrid and send them a video response. It's a great app, and they've used it to success. And thank you so much, Ms. Temple, for everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm excited to share and hope everybody takes something away with them that they can use.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please check out our social media, our Instagram, our YouTube, everything, to see more of this series of talks for educators. So we hope you come again. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.